Well, the Canadian Card Collector, and welcome back to day 499 of Daily Deck Review. And the deck that we're taking a look at today is the Fulton October's UV Glow Edition in the Pumpkin King Orange Edition Tuck Box. So, with no further ado, let's take a look and see what we get. So here we have the Fulton Octobers in that matte orange finished tuck box with a little bit of black and white kind of gloss on top. It says Fulton's October there, playing cards there. And then you got that iconic design with like the skeletons there all dressed up. So you got two normal skeletons. And you got the one skeleton with the pumpkin on it. And you got one dressed up as a ghost there. And they're like running there with like the moon in the background with the little bats there. And you got that kind of like almost like a graveyard kind of like fence gate door there. On one side, you just got the different skeleton heads there. And the same thing on the other side. On the bottom, you get your information there. You got the Dan and Dave logo there in that skeleton kind of font, or the bone font. And then you got your information here. It says copyright 2022 from Brad Fulton there, and the year they were made. Distributed by the Dan and Dave Playing Card Co. Made in the USA. And then on the back, the same thing as the front of the tuck box. There is no seal for the cards. On the top, it just says playing cards. And if we open the tuck flap, just got a little bigger version of the moon there with some bats. The inner tuck flaps have the little skulls on them. And if we take the cards out of the box, on the inside of the tuck box, it is just that matte orange colorway. Nothing too crazy or fancy going on inside of there. And now that we're to look at the tuck box, time to look at the cards. And we'll start with that back sign. So, you might notice one thing. The back sign does not match the tuck box at all. It's actually a green back design, which is pretty interesting. Considering you have that like bright orange tuck box, you'd almost expect the back design to be orange. But no, it's a green kind of colorway there. And then you got like the skeleton there design there. So it is a mirrored back design there with the standard whiteboard going on. So you got the skeleton design there in the middle, which is like a little moon there, also there in the middle, some bats, and you kind of got that like fence, kind of like graveyard kind of fence style going all the way around. Then you got the skeletons there in the corners, two with the pumpkin on its head, two without, and then obviously that green background there, like that kind of bright green, and it is mirrored, so you flip it over. Same design in both directions. But now for the cards you get with the deck, you'll start with the first little card here. So you got an all green inked card there with the skeleton there with his kind of head popping off and his hand there. And then you got a second identical one, so these must be the Jokers. There. So two identical cards right there. Then you got that custom Ace of Spades there, which two skeletons there in the shape of a spade. It says the D and you got the Dan and Dave logo. So D&D Playing Card Co. And then Hollywood, California. And then the rest of the cards are pretty standard, nothing like too crazy going on. Except for some of the suits, like some of the number cards have a little skeleton on it, because the 6 here has a skeleton on it. There. And I got the fully custom core cards there. Jack, Queen, and King of Spades. They're all skeleton kind of themed, and they all have that green back design. So the core cards themselves are like a black and white color. Yeah, they're black and white, but with that green back design. And then you got the diamonds here, standard diamond suits. They're just in that kind of bright green colorway. And then some of the suits have like, some of the numbers still have that skeleton on it. So the 3 of diamonds has it this time. So it looks like only one number out of the suits have that skeleton on it. And then you got the black and white core cards once again with that bright green background. And then for the clubs here, once again, the core cards, the black and white core cards in that skeleton design with that green background. And then the clubs are just standard. And then the 9 of clubs has that little skeleton on it. Oh, and also there's the 7 of clubs. And then lastly, the hearts, Jack, Queen, and King of hearts. Same as the other 3 sets of core cards there. The skeletons with that green back design. And the hearts are that standard heart design, just in that green colorway. And the 8 of hearts has that little skeleton on it. And also there's the 4 of hearts. And then you got a little crow there on the little Ace of Hearts. And the last 2 cards in the deck is you got a little Fulton October 4th edition, first printing. So this is the 4th edition. of the Fulton Octobers. There. A little bit of there, and it tells you who produced them. Dan and Dave produced them. They were designed by Brad Fulton and illustrated by Stephen Noble. There. And then you got this little art card there, which is like a bunch of like skeletons there in a graveyard there. There, just running around, having some fun. There. And now that we took a look at the cards here, they are made in the USA, so they have that air cushioning finish from the United States program, so they will handle pretty nicely, as we all know. And for the springs, they're nice springs. They're a little bit slippery because they're like straight out of the box. So so that means a little bit on the stiff side if they're like a little slippery. So, but they still spring pretty nicely. I just gotta be careful when I'm springing these because they're definitely really slippery. But pretty nice springs. Definitely like a more of like a stiffer, like thicker stock, just because they're slightly more like stiffer feeling. And then for the fans, they fan fantastically there. Super smooth fans though. So they definitely got to be broken in when you take them out of the box, just because they're a little bit stiff and slick. But they pack it up pretty nicely. They look pretty nice with that bright green back design. There. And for the ferrule, they ferrule pretty nicely. And you get that nice giant fan there. The black and green kind of color for the faces, and then that nice bright green back design. And they whiffle pretty nicely. So definitely, there's no like, real issues with the handling. Pretty nice handling. Just they're slightly stiffer straight out of the box. So overall, they handle fantastic. They feel fantastic. They look fantastic with that nice bright green background. I wasn't really expecting a green background with that orange tuck box. And before we leave for this video, they did say they were the UV edition, so they might slightly glow under UV. So I have that flashlight that we used in another video, and I'll just slightly test. I'm not entirely sure how much they'll glow or not, but we'll fully test it. There's a little bit of glow on like the white parts on the back here. You can kind of see how they're slightly glowing. A little bit hard to see in the daylight there, but they're glowing a little bit. And about the faces, let's see if any of the I'm not sure how the faces will glow or not. Not really, but like the cork, this little extra card with all the white little bits, kind of glows a little bit. But like not really any of the faces. But if we get some of the cork cards out, here's a cork card. The cork card slightly glows a little bit. Those are pretty like unique kind of a thing. You don't usually see too many glow in the dark decks of cards out there. So pretty nice. There. So once again, fantastic back design there. Fantastic design. There from Dan and Dave and Brad Fulton. Like pretty simplistic like faces here just because they're like mostly standard. But you got the custom court cards there. And then some of the some of the cards have a little skeleton on some of them. And the diamonds and the hearts are in that green color. So it is a custom deck of cards there for the faces. So I guess with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. And this has been day 499 of Daily Deck Review. And this has been the Ace Fulton no, Fulton October's UV Glow Edition, the Pumpkin King Orange Tuck Box variation. And I'm the Canadian Card Collector, signing out. That's the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And be around for tomorrow. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. That's the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.